Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today in War Thunder it's time to go over some general news items. Unfortunately there isn't really enough here just for one single video, so I thought I'd just put a bunch of topics together and talk about them in more general terms. The first one is an update to the game, a changelog, which came a little while ago and has been updated since. This is update 1.87.1.86, and they basically just fixed a bunch of bugs and added a mission type to Coral Islands. So the first one is a bug where there were splashes did not appear on water after shooting specific ground vehicles around, so it's been fixed. So now there should be, well, more splashes. A bug where a smaller vessel could embed inside solid objects like rocks has been fixed. I definitely had that before. Basically, if you could go at a specific speed, you could launch yourself into physical objects. A bug when short time freezes were possible after opening the statistics or map menu has been fixed. Thank God, because that was very much an annoying one. A bug when specific aircraft had the HUD display an option to control more engines than they actually had has been fixed. Well, that must have been kind of confusing. Can you imagine a B-17, but you can control 6 engines? Yeah, that's great. A bug where control type full message was always being displayed in SB mode has been fixed. So once again, just tidying up. A bug where the shadow from the drag chutes at specific angles was not displayed has been fixed. And then a bug in Air Arcade battles where air-to-air missile reload time was not displayed has been fixed. And then we have a bug when SPAA with several coaxial guns could only fire with one barrel after a breach repair has been fixed. That is a very nice bug fix. I could definitely see that being a major issue for stuff like whirlwinds and stuff like that. Or, smaller caliber guns. A bug when on specific configuration trees and bushes were not displayed after a video driver restart has been fixed. That could have definitely been exploited. A bug where players had a graphical glitch after the M47, 105, 55 tracks were damaged has been fixed. There has been a few graphical glitches running around where tracks have been disappearing and you're basically just on wheels, which is, kind of funny. And then the last one, which was on the first, the battle mission on the location Coral Islands has been added to the rotation for boats in naval battles. So we have another mission type for Coral Islands, which I'm happy to see. And overall, I kind of like the way that naval maps are at least shaping up when it comes to the way that they work. I'm sure once they have a bit more defined metas, it'll probably be a little bit more boring, but they seem to fit, the smaller ships pretty well. The issues, of course, is when it comes to larger boats. The next news item is that we have some new ITALERI model kits. As you can see, you can get some War Thunder branded model kits. And the ones which are on offer, there is actually kind of quite a lot of them, actually. So you have some War Thunder ITALERI, or ITALERI, I should say, plastic scale model kits are now available. And one thing to understand is I believe these are only available in specific regions. So make sure to check before you buy that they are available for your, specific region. Now you can see right here that it will talk about, where to buy it from, where to get it delivered to, and all of that stuff. So the two model kits on offer right now are the MI-24D and the UH-1, so the Hind and the Huey. You get two model kits, you get some colored sprues, plain reference guide, color instruction sheet, 2 stand bases, and a War Thunder bonus code. Now, the War Thunder bonus code, it gives you Thatcher's F2A1 Buffalo, the HE112B, and 7 days of premium account, and also the ITALERI decal. So I really like these offers. I like the idea of having a kind of like an outside well, not really a sponsorship, but a partnership when it comes to Gaijin. We see a lot of the times that museums and stuff do partnerships with game companies, and it's nice that Gaijin has found a pretty cool game company, to be honest. sorry, not game company, but model company, in order to partner with and create these wonderful models. There is also one for the BF-109, F4 and the D9, and then also the P-47 and the P-51. So if you are interested in any of these, make sure to go to the website using this code, well, not really a code, but using this button here, and make sure to get yourself the bonus code along top of the models themselves. The models look absolutely wonderfully high quality, and also the price of them is very cheap, if I'm honest, for models. And for me, that is definitely something to look for when you're trying to get into, this area. There's also pictures of the models themselves, meaning that you can see what they look like after they come out, and that's just wonderful. I'd hope we see more and more stuff like this as we go forward. And you also get a little bit of a booklet here. This is what it looks like before construction. Of course, you have to put them together and paint them yourselves, and it gives you a bunch of stickers. This is a great thing. One of the things that when I was younger, one of the things that got me into modeling and stuff, I don't really do it too much anymore because of, time constraints. But when I was younger, I used to sit down with my granddad, and my granddad would have a model Sherman, or he would have a model Pershing or something like that, and we would just sit there and build it together. And if I was staying over for the weekend, we would start on the, Friday, and by the time on Sunday, it would be finished. And then we would be, painting it and having a bit of fun with it. So it's a really good bonding thing to do with either a child or with, a loved one, to kind of just sit there and build something from nothing into something. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you've accomplished something. And if you do it with somebody else, then obviously the whole process is increased. The next point of call is the War Thunder YouTube Cup. Now, a lot of people have already been asking me, am I involved in this? Am I playing in this? And the answer is no. The main reason is because I have a full-time job. I can't commit to just having 3 days off, even if it's over a weekend, because obviously with a full-time job and my work hours, I can't. When we were first told about this, there wasn't really any times given or anything like that, so therefore I can't commit and get into a team, because what if I'm working? I don't want to let people down, I don't want to let, myself down, and I don't want to skip work for a tournament, even if it has the 100 in it, which this one does. And also on top of it, when it comes to that E100, I personally... I vowed to never play in a tournament or a session or any type of challenge which was to do with the 100. I'm still very annoyed at how the 100 tournament went last time. There was some very unfortunate things which at least happened on my end because of the game, and not because of, my internet or anything like that. But just understand, I probably won't go into it because it's a very annoying thing to me. But it's left a very, very bad taste in my mouth. I'll just put it like that. So anything to do with the 100 in War Thunder, I'm not really interested, because it reminds me of the tournaments which were designed to get the thing in the first place. But anyway, the idea of the War Thunder YouTube Cup is to bring together Twitch people, bring together YouTube people, bring together basically what you'd see as influencers or people in the partnership program to play tournaments and to be commentated over. And the two commentators who are going to be live stream commentating are Bruce, who does the War Thunder YouTube videos, and Fly, obviously Fly Daily. So we're getting the most popular YouTube content creator and Bruce to be able to commentate. It should be pretty fun. And if you need any links to where this is going to be happening, or where you can find any of the rules or anything like that, then of course you can have a look here. The main thing to understand is that this is obviously, first of all, a little bit of fun. I'm sure a lot of people will take it seriously. And also, if you watch it on Twitch or YouTube, they will be giving away stuff to the audience. So this will be in the form of probably codes, which will give you some premium time, some GE, maybe even some special vehicles. So make sure to tune in and try and get your hands on some of those special things while also supporting some of the content creators. If you want to find out who's in it, you can go to the schedule tab and it will show you the teams, and you can click on the teams and work out who's playing. I really wish, I could play in one of these, but I need to know much earlier when it's going to be so I can plan around it. It's as simple as that. But yeah, and a lot of people have criticized it already, saying why are they giving out so much GE when the average tournament doesn't get enough, or because, the average tournament hardly has anything. Well, the reason why is because this is pretty much a one-off event. Like, how often do you see this type of event? I can't even remember one in the past 5 years in War Thunder. Maybe there was another one where there was some kind of, partnership program cup. But if you compare it to all of the tournaments, which are run every week, there's over 100 tournaments a week which are run in War Thunder, whether it's in, racing, naval, air, ground, and through that you can get tons of GE prizes. So giving away something like 175,000 GE in the prize pool compared to the over 6,000 tournaments that are run every year, which give away millions of GE, I think is completely fine. I think a lot of people are going to blow this out of proportion because there are two ways they're going to look at it. They're first of all going to say, well, you guys can just ask for whatever you want anyway. And then two, well, why should you be privileged over everyone else? And the first one, so I'm going to let you into a little secret, right? The way that the partnership program works in War Thunder is that you request what you would like. So we don't get given stuff. You have to request everything. And so let's say somebody wants to play the T2 on day one. They have to request, getting the T2 or maybe getting the GE for the T2, something like that. And guess what? A lot of people get refused a lot of the time because it's not seen as either profitable or maybe you won't get enough views on a video. Basically, a value judgment is made on your content and if it should be worth you getting this. So it isn't just a case of handouts. It isn't just a case of have everything that you want. There is a ton of refusal in the system, and I think there should be refusal in the system because technically it is Gaijin's product. It is up to them to give out what they want. But just understand, it is not as simple as people think. Like a lot of people, I believe, when they become part of the partnership program, first of all, think we get a press account. We don't get a press account. Everything is done through your individual personal account, right? So that's the first misconception. And second one is that we just get everything unlocked or get everything given. No, that's not the case. You have to request everything. At least from my level of, YouTube size, which I think is fine. It's how it should be, in my opinion. The other one is obviously, why should there be a special tournament for you? It's basically to get eyes, I think is the best ways of putting it. If you take a lot of popular people together and say, hey, we're going to run a tournament for you. Kind of like, you remember how Apex Legends did one? They did a tournament when they first released, with a lot of the big Twitch streamers, basically paying them to come and play. And I don't think anyone has been paid to come into this, YouTube Cup for War Thunder. But just for Apex, they paid a lot of people to come and play this grandiose tournament to get eyes on it. I think the same idea applies here. As I've said many times, one of the biggest issues with the War Thunder esports community is that there are no figureheads I can point to and people know from the general community. And I've tried my best to try and talk to people who I think could be figureheads and get them on for, War Thunder talks, or get them on to, talk about just general esports stuff or create their own content around it. It just isn't happening. So the only way you can get eyes on this is through content creators. So therefore, that's what they're doing. It's as simple as that. So before you go after the YouTubers, right, before you go after the Twitch guys and also Gaijin themselves, remember, this is a one-off tournament, which doesn't happen often, so the prizes are going to be larger than usual compared to the other tournaments. And if you are interested in the competitive scene, check out, the TTS portal and make sure to participate in a lot of the tournaments that are going on, because it's a huge, thing that people can do and an easy way to make premium and GE. The other thing I also want to mention before I go is I didn't talk too much about the heavy cruisers that were mentioned here, and the reason is because I wanted to focus more on the Japanese stuff. But I just want to put out a thought. One of the things that Gaijin has done really well in ships, much better than other game modes, is the idea that with ships, you can... whenever they've added in a light cruiser, they've added them across the board, right? So the last set of light cruisers, we got one for each nation. If they keep that idea up for heavy cruisers, it'll be much, much better than just having a single country with a heavy cruiser, and I'm hoping that's what they do. If they don't do it unilaterally across the board, and instead what they do is just do a set of, let's just say they give Japan a heavy cruiser and nobody else, I think that would be generally a bad idea. So I hope they keep up with what they've been doing in the past for Naval. I think it's one of the most fair systems of adding machines to the game, and I hope it's used as a replicate for other parts of the game. I am interested to see how heavy cruisers do. I very much have issues, as I said, with top tier naval when it comes to just general power creep, where certain ships are just not supposed to face other ones, and I don't see any balancing factors. But hopefully, in the future, that is sorted out by either anti-ship missiles or some other weird and wonderful way to do things. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, Dyslexic Child, Martinez, Matati, Moxie, Nito, Nick Graham, Alobralo, and Super Cacti for supporting me on Patreon.